You want to have some fun with it? I mean, like we can start off the show. If you want to do like an introduction, I can hit play the Stone Cold music.
Go ahead and play right now. It's already started. We
have some stupid fun. All right, hold on a second. Let me pull it up. Hey, I was literally sitting here. I just sent my buddy like a little. I put a little video on my story. I had Stone Cold's music blasted. I was like, oh hell yeah!
Hold on, let me do a quick mic test too. Make sure my shit is correct. You know what I mean? I want to make sure we get in all of this.
I was gonna say we're doing a wrestling pod, bro. Let's just have some fun with it. It's get crazy today.
Yep.
I had Judas blasting when you got on.
Yeah, shout out to Stone Cold.
Here we go.
Yeah, get him. Go ahead and get the crowd hype.
All right,
let's get him. Let's get him right. Let's get him right.
All right, let's do this.
Go ahead. That's it.
Happy 316 day, everybody. I am the wrestling artist. Some people call me the rock and roll artist. My name is David Truitt, and you are listening to the Rolling Pin Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about art. We're going to talk about wrestling. I'm with my man here, Gary, and we are going to get deep in the woods today. Gary, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I feel like I'm on your podcast. Shit is epic.
We got to get people excited, man. It's Tuesday morning. It's Stone Cold Day.
It is.
I think everybody needs to go back to the network and watch their favorite Stone Cold moment. Obviously, before everything switches over to Peacock and we lose all of our shit. So
yeah. Happy 316 day, everybody. This is Gary Foods from Rolling Pin Podcast. I have David with me. David's an artist that we connected on Instagram, and I really loved his artwork. It was very different, and I actually wanted to make sure we provide value to all the artists out there too, to make sure they can get to where you got, because I see with you. You have a lot of wrestlers following you that are known, from Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle. Give me somebody else, Joey Janela. I've been watching.
So, I mean, my Instagram, like if you look at it, I used to have like 3,000 followers, and I was getting messages all the time. I mean, just it became a lot. I was working in the medical field, and because of my artwork led me to an opportunity to get in front of Rey Mysterio, which is one of my childhood heroes.
Congratulations.
And because of what that painting did in terms of putting me in Rey's hotel room the week of Royal Rumble, it opened doors for me to work with 46 other professional athletes over the next 6 months, almost all of them being exclusive to WWE. I got to meet everybody that you could think of. I got to go backstage at events. I mean, just the craziest things happened. And it was all because of one painting that I did for a meet and greet with Rey Mysterio, simply because I just didn't want to be the guy that just took a mask or just took an action figure. Yeah. You know, I bought a meet and greet to meet Rey, and I knew I was going to have the opportunity to finally get my picture of me and him with the mask. I had met him once before at a hotel. He did not have the mask, so I felt kind of weird about posting that picture.
You can't expose Rey Mysterio like that.
You know, most people, like, everybody knows what he looks like because of obviously WCW days, but it's just like out of respect, right? I mean, this is literally like a guy I've been a fan of since like 5-6 years old. So I bought this meet and greet, and I did this painting, and I'm a big fan of the Roots of Fight clothing brand, right? And I don't know if you've seen that stuff, but you know, Rey's got a very extensive line of stuff in Roots of Fight, and I just love the way the stuff looks. So I did a painting that was very inspired by that clothing brand, and I was posting teasers of it on social media. Rey caught wind of it and basically like responded. It was like, I can't wait to see what it looks like. It looks fire.
Dope.
And then from there, man, it turned into like him and I kind of commenting back and forth. And I was just like, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
And it turned into him telling me like, hey, I want the painting. And I was just like, oh, like this is crazy.
That's epic. That's epic. So Rey Mysterio, I was like, damn, like this guy must be like he must have backstage passes, because I didn't know at first. I was looking at, I was like, God, like how are all these people following David? Like, who's this guy? But so it was the one piece, and I think that is a good piece of advice for me, because I'm an artist as well, and also for those in the art community, you might want to follow that same philosophy of getting that meet and greet and making sure it gets seen, actually getting physical with the wrestlers. I know social media is the quickest way to go about these type of situations, but you know, just taking that extra step, paying that money, and going backstage to see these guys, congratulating them and giving them a gift. I'm sure it was a gift. It was a gift.
Yeah. Well, so I kind of did it like with a plan in mind. Like once once I knew Rey, I had his attention with it. I mean, I went over the top on it. Like this piece that I did, it was 3 foot by 3 foot. So everything that I do is very large.
Okay.
That painting that I did eventually end up trading to Rey, and we'll get to that here in a second.
All right.
The painting itself was the first time I had ever done a big canvas painting. Before I was a pen and pencil, like Sharpie type guy, and I would do like rock and roll stuff. So I was doing drum heads of like Slash and like Motley Crue and like bands like that. But I was working on, the biggest diameter one I did was 24 inches. Now all of a sudden I'm going 3 foot by 3 foot canvas. And the Rey Mysterio piece that I did alone, I did a portrait of him on it. I'd never painted a portrait before. So there was a lot of challenges to it. I knew I'm very good about, if I have a vision in my head, I'm very good about being able to put it on paper. And it usually always comes out exactly as I envision it, which I know a lot of people struggle with, right? Like they'll have this image, but they can't convey that to the piece that they're working on, or they get frustrated with it. The biggest piece of advice I give people is continue to work through that, because even with that Rey Mysterio painting, like there were points that I was like, I don't like that, and you're taking gesso and you're whitening out the whole thing to start over. I mean, but that's the great thing about a painting is you can keep working it and keep working it and keep working it. And if you mess up, you can just white over it, start over again.
I watch Bob Ross. I watch Bob Ross because I like his. He keeps it cool when he's painting, and it helps me out because my mind should be, all of our minds should be at ease when we painting. And like you said about the mistakes, it's actually probably easier. I found it to be easier than actually drawing. You know what I mean? Because like you said, like you can easily just paint over it and
right.
over it.
Yeah, you mess up with the Sharpie, there's no fixing that.
Right. And the thing is with the painting, the more layers you have, it almost looks better too. You know what I mean? So yeah, man,
that Rey painting though, man. I put 60 hours into that first one. Now
I gotta take a look at it because I don't have the picture, but I know you don't have a picture, but I'll make sure if you
I tagged you in it on Instagram. It's the one of me and Rey with the painting in front of us.
Yeah.
So it's inspired by his very first Roots of Fight shirt. So it's got the Serape rainbow background. And then it's got a old school portrait of him from like the WCW days right in the middle. The Aztec calendar behind it. And that's actually hanging in his house. And I have a couple screen grabs I can send to you too.
I'll make sure I put them up.
He's got it in his house, and it's actually been on Raw. So like a bunch of my friends knew that like Rey had this painting, and after he did the whole angle where he lost the eye, right? Like right after, and
that was last year,
doing the interviews like from his home. He did one of the interviews with the paintings like hanging like right above him, like right here, was pretty cool. And my social media started blowing up with all my buddies tagging me, going, dude, Rey's got your painting on Raw. So that was pretty cool.
Rey Mysterio is a great guy in itself. Like you could tell by his character, very family oriented guy. Like you could tell his core values are intact, the intangible characteristics are there, trust, honesty, and all those type of, like he strikes me as a good guy to actually connect with and meet. You know.
Yeah. So here was the really cool thing about this. So like him being one of my childhood heroes, obviously, like you can see in my background here, like I collect wrestling memorabilia. This whole room is wrestling stuff here.
Gotcha.
And the biggest thing that I always wanted, Gary, is I always wanted a ring worn signed Rey Mysterio mask. That was like my holy grail piece. Like I'd be buried with this, like my number one desire, right?
Is he your favorite wrestler?
He's probably my favorite, but it's real hard. I mean, I love Warrior, I love Sting,
Stone Cold, of course,
Eddie Guerrero. I mean, so I got like a top five, right, that I can narrow it down to. But
I can dig that.
When Rey came in, this all took place and like I said, this one painting opened up massive doors. This was Royal Rumble 2019 in Phoenix, right? So they did a fan access based around Royal Rumble like they do WrestleMania. So I think it was like $125. I bought the meet and greet. I bought the meet and greet specifically because I wanted to get a professional photo with Rey in mask, and I did this painting.
You live in Phoenix.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
So when Rey comes walking in, he sees me with the big painting, right? Obviously, this thing is taller than half the kids that are standing around me, right? And he comes right over, and he's like, "Oh, bro, like that's fire." He's like, "That shit looks great," like and he just goes on. So from there, I knew so I'm very good about like positioning like time and opportunities. So I let everybody else go first, right? So if anybody jumped in line, they came behind me, I'd be like, oh, hey, you could go ahead. And they'd be like, no, go ahead. I'd be like, no, I have to go last. Like, I gotta go last.
I gotta speak to this guy for real.
Go ahead. So I made sure I was the very back of the line. I go up there with my painting and they're like, oh, do you want us to hand it to him to sign? And I was like, no. I got this, right? Because I didn't want the lady to just like fingerprint it, smudge it, hand it to him sign it real quick. That's not what I was going for.
I feel you.
I had been stopped by fans all day long. People going, oh my God, that's great. Because, I'm carrying around this 3 foot tall painting, right?
I got you.
And people are stopping me going, hey, can my kid get a picture with it? And they're like, oh, are you going to gift it to him? Or what are you going to do with it? And I kept telling everybody like, yo, here's my plan. So now this is like 4:30 in the afternoon. By the time like it's time for me to go up there and interact with Rey, I look to the right, Gary, and I'm not kidding you. There's 50 people standing to the right, wondering like, what's going to happen, right? Because I've been telling everybody my plan. So now I got like a crowd of people going, is he going to pull it off, right? So I get up there and Rey's just like, oh my God, bro. Like
what was the plan in detail again? Let's go over the plan.
The plan for me was I was going to see if Rey wanted the painting. And if he wanted the painting, I was going to say, hey, bro, make me a trade, right?
All right.
One thing I've always wanted is a mask, right? So all day long, I'm telling people like, hey, like this is my plan. I'm going to make this happen, right? And it's kind of like you're manifesting your own destiny.
You were going to give it to him anyway. It was just like a...
Yes and no. I mean, if he didn't want to do the trade, I probably would have just had him sign it and hung it up in my house.
I can respect that.
But if he wanted it, the canvas is $100, $150. By the time I do clear coat and paint and supplies, like I'm $300-$400 into this piece, right?
Okay. Was it oil or acrylic?
I do everything acrylic, and then I use Deco and Sharpie oil-based paint pens to do like details, like stuff like that too. But mostly just all acrylic paint.
That's a tip for me.
So I get up there with them. I get up there with the man, and he's just like, "Oh, bro, this is fire." Da 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 da. And the people are kind of standing there like, "Yo, will these two shut up? Like, so we can take a picture and move on with our day because we're the last ones." And then this whole section closes down. Mm-hmm. So I tell Rey, I said, look, man, I said, number one, do you want this? And he goes, bro, I would love to have this. And I was just like inside, right? Like you're like the little 5-year-old kid in you, just like freaks out inside. And he's like, oh my God, right? So we start talking, and I said, look, bro, I said, you're one of my childhood heroes. I said, if we can make a trade, that would be amazing. He goes, well, what do you got in mind? I said, Rey, I said that the number one thing I've always wanted, bro, is I've always wanted one of your ring-worn masks. Like that's like my holy grail. And then he stops a second and he pauses and he goes, bro, this is great. I go, what do you mean? He goes, yo, my cousin is driving in with my nephew tomorrow for the Royal Rumble. I'll have him stop by my house, have my wife Angie give him a mask. He could drive out here, bring the mask with him. I'll have you bring the painting to the hotel, bubble wrap it up for me. My cousin could throw it in the back of the truck and then take it back to my house.
Epic.
I was like, oh my God, right? So
that's epic.
And this is like, and while all this is going on, Gary, my best friend, Mitch Payne, is flying in from Iowa, and we're doing a whole takeover weekend, right? So like, he is at the Suns Arena at NXT going, dude, where the hell are you? And I was like, bro, I can't talk right now, right? Like I'm in this negotiation with Rey, so I'm missing the start of NXT takeover. But like I'm like 2 blocks away, right? So like I know when I'm done here, I gotta take this painting back to my car and then run to the arena because I'm missing the show. So like my phone dies during all this, man. Like it was just like it
doesn't matter.
It was crazy.
It doesn't matter.
Rey tells me, Rey he grabs one of his 8x10s, right? So they got the table of 8x10s there to sign. So he grabs one of the 8x10s and he's like, hey bro, like write down your phone number. All right, like let's stop right there. Right.
Yeah, you already guessed.
I've been a fan of this dude for like 25 years, and he's going, "Hey, bro, let me get your phone number." I was just like, "Oh man, this is nuts." So I go to NXT. I'm hyped. I mean, I feel like Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder during the Hype Rose days.
Yeah, this is it.
Like I'm on a different level.
This is life.
I get to NXT. My buddy just looks at me and he sees my face and he's like, "Oh shit, tell me all about it, bro." And I'm just like sitting there. We're in the front row, and I'm like, "Dude, you're not gonna believe it. This happened. He wants this. Like, we're gonna make a trade. I'm gonna get a mask." And my buddy is just like, "You gotta be shitting me, right?" But it's one of those things. Like, I've done stuff like this my whole life. Like my friends, like nothing I do now shocks any of my friends. Like I've always been very good about talking my way in or out of situations and just creating things that like most people would go, oh, I can't do that. Like, I'm like, no, I'm gonna make that shit happen. Like,
Right.
let's do this, right?
Yeah.
So we're at NXT, and well, when my phone died, I had to hit the Walgreens real quick across the street, bought the little, the battery pack, plug the stuff in, because I'm paranoid. Like, what if Ray texts me tonight? Right?
Yeah,
like,
you gotta get the phone on. That's
So
priority
I had to go
number one.
drop like $25, $30 on a battery. I was like, whatever. Charged my phone. Well, are you familiar with Nita Strauss, the guitarist?
I'm not familiar with Anita Strauss.
She's the blonde girl that played in Shinsuke the night he won the title at WrestleMania.
I gotta go back and check. I'm gonna go back.
So I kept running into her and her boyfriend. They were in town, and literally every single night we ran into them. And I had already kind of been talking to them because of at the time I had just joined a stem cell company. This was a startup company. They do advanced stem cell therapy, and we'll kind of go down. I'll tell you a little bit about this rabbit hole and how Ray opened up all these doors. So we kept running into them, and we were hanging out. Well, me and my buddy, we've always been autograph collectors, right? We like to get pictures, autographs, whatever, just for fans. We're not eBayers, anything like that, but we like the interaction. So I knew the hotel where they were staying. So we go to the show gets over, we go back to the hotel in downtown Phoenix. I'm not going to disclose that on here because, I don't want a bunch of people taking over my hotel. It's a good spot, right?
Of course not. Yeah.
But so we go back to the hotel, and then of course we run into Josh and Nita again. Right. So we're sitting in the lobby, we're on the couches with them, we're just bullshitting back and forth. And I was telling Josh, which is Nita Strauss's boyfriend, about like the whole deal with the painting, and I showed him pictures on my phone, and he was like, dude, seriously? And I was like, yeah. He goes, my buddy is literally in Ray's room right now upstairs doing a private signing. He's like, are you sure this happened? I was like, I swear to God, bro. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna text my buddy right now. He goes, where's the painting? I go, it's literally in the trunk of my car. So
feet away from each other.
Yeah. So he goes, let me text him. So he texts him, and he like looks at me, and he's like, you're sure this happened, right? And I was like, yeah, bro, I swear. Like, so he sends a text. His guy texts back and goes, yeah, I'm with Ray right now. And he sends him the picture of the painting. And he goes, oh yeah, Ray wants him to bring it up to the room right now. And I was like, what? So I didn't have any bubble wrap. So we're in downtown Phoenix. I had to race. I got in my Mustang, jumped on the highway. I'm not kidding you, Gary. Like, I'm like panicking for time here.
This is it.
I'm afraid that I'm going to miss an opportunity.
This is the one.
I was literally doing 100 miles an hour down the freeway to drive to the closest Walmart to grab a roll of bubble wrap real quick. So then I fly back another like 90, 100 miles back, right? Not distance, but like I'm flying down the highway.
I got you.
And I'm literally doing like 100 miles an hour in a Mustang. Like paranoid I'm going to get pulled over.
And it feels like time is probably moving a little faster.
Oh my God. Time felt like it was like non-existent. Like it was just so slow, right?
It's slow.
So
I got you.
Yeah, I get back to the hotel. I text my buddy. I said, I'm pulling up right now. I literally screeched the tires in the drop-off pull-through area. Valet dude comes up. I said, hey, bro, I'm just here to deliver this painting to Rey Mysterio. Give me 30 minutes. He's like, all right, cool, whatever. So my buddy comes out, and I tell him to stick his fingers in the bubble wrap, like the big roll like this, so it can just spin. And I slap a piece of tape on the backside of the painting, and I just start flipping this 3 foot by 3 foot painting while my buddy's holding the bubble wrap. So we roll this whole thing up. Now, what Ray didn't know is that I did 2 paintings.
Okay.
The other one was for me to keep. So I got
was it a duplicate? Was it similar, or was it like?
No, it's different. It was different.
Yeah.
I did one off of, if you remember the T-shirt design, it was like the cross, and it had the camouflage, and then the black mask over top of it.
I gotta go back and look.
I painted that, and so I was gonna keep that for my own house.
So
we go in, we meet Josh and Nita again. Now I'm carrying 2 3 foot by 3 foot paintings, and we start going up the elevator, right? So we're walking down the hallway, and I'm having this like, are you kidding me moment, right? Because here I am, I'm walking with these 2 3 foot paintings that I did, and I'm with this rock and roll guitarist, Anita Strauss, who's the guitarist for Alice Cooper, and she's a badass in her own right. My best friend's with me, and we're in the hotel Royal Rumble weekend going to Rey Mysterio's hotel, right? So we walk in, Ray is there, Dominic was there, DJ, I'm going to mess his name up, DJ Luian.
I got you.
He's a Hispanic DJ. You. He's got like 3 million followers, big WWE fan, right? He was in the room, but I didn't know who he was at the time.
Yeah.
So we go in.
Still important.
Yeah, Ray's sitting in there, hood up, no mask on. He's like, what's up, Dave? We walk in, and it's just like, holy crap. So, I give him the painting, and he's like, bro, this is fire. He's like, my cousin's coming tomorrow. I'm gonna have him bring the mask. And then I showed him the other painting, and he was like, oh my God. So I was like, hey, I'm keeping this one, bro. Sorry, I gotta keep one for my house.
I got you.
I was like, so with this one, I want you to sign it. But I was like, but you gotta give me that old school signature. I was like, I don't want Rey 619. Give me the Rey Mysterio Jr. And I was like, blow that shit up. So this is a 3-foot painting. His signature is 2 feet wide. I'm not kidding. I probably have the biggest Rey Mysterio autograph in a personal collection now.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
So when we're in the room, Nita Strauss started talking about cryotherapy, so like the cold chamber stuff. As soon as she did that, Gary, that lit my ears up, right? So she's talking, and like it was literally like a Kevin Hart moment, right? I was like, what? No, I'm not ready, right? But I was ready, right?
Right.
Soon as Nita stopped talking to Rey, I'm not kidding you, like I sat down in front of him, like crisscross applesauce, like Indian style on the floor, and I was like, Rey, you ever thought about stem cell therapy? And he was like, yeah. He was like, bro, I've actually done it in Vegas. And I went, holy shit. I said, here's who I am. This is what I do.
This is supposed to happen. I feel like this
oh my God, this is like, crazy.
It had to happen this way for you.
Yeah. So I tell him, I said, listen, man, I said, my name's David. You know, obviously I'm with a company called BioAccelerator. They're a brand new startup stem cell facility. We can do stem cells at levels that nobody in America can do, right? You're my childhood hero. If there's any way that I can give back to you and say thank you for the 25 plus years that you've put your body on the line and given to us, the fans, I want to be that guy.
I like that.
I said, so look, I'm willing to give you a $40,000 treatment completely free. We'll take care of your knees, shoulders, back, neck, anything you got going on, bro. I'll do that completely free for you. All you got to do is cover the flight. And all I want in exchange is to let me document it with a professional film crew. Give me the rights to share it, obviously using the Rey Mysterio name, and give me 2 social media posts a month, every month for the next few months. I was like, if you do that, bro, like I will take care of this treatment.
That sounds like
completely. And he was like, what? For real, bro? He's like, oh man, I would love to. And I was just like, oh my God. He was like, yeah, we're gonna talk. So you know, we wrap up. So we wrap up, and like me and my buddy are walking downstairs. I'm on cloud 9 right now. Rey Mysterio's got my painting. I'm getting a mask, right? And so so fast forward through this weekend, the next day after Royal Rumble, we're back at the hotel. We're in the bar. We're drinking with Shane McMahon, Gallows and Anderson, Baron Corbin.
You're part of the fucking the roster. Like
so we're just in the bar and like they're all drinking or whatever. And then Rey and Dominic and like his, you know, their crew is like over in the restaurant by themselves and they're drinking, eating dinner or whatever. And I see Dominic like come back to the bar and go up to the hotel room and then come back. Well, when they get done eating, they come back over and Rey like comes up, hands me the mask. And I was like, oh my God, right? So like he signs it for me or whatever. We take a picture with the mask. I'm freaking out, bro. Like I am freaking out inside, but you're with Rey and Rey's so like cool and so like just chill, right? So you're trying to like project that, but inside, like I'm screaming. Right?
Yeah, of course. You're a fan.
And I went back and so what I did is I went back and I tracked, like I went through, I found a photo online of Rey wearing that mask and it gave me a date, like a timestamp, right? So I went back to WWE Network and I started matching. That mask was worn literally 6 days before he went on to win the world title at WrestleMania 22. So this was during the run after Eddie died. He wore it on SmackDown against Fit Finlay, was the only televised event that I could find, but it was purple, had yellow and green trim on it.
I think I seen that on your Instagram too.
Yeah, it was, bro, it was sick. So
that's what's up.
We fast forward through that, and then like it was like the week before WrestleMania, Rey had tweaked his ankle on Raw. He had like did a move off the top rope. It kind of landed weird and rolled his ankle. So I get a text message later that night. Now keep in mind, Royal Rumble's in January. Mania's like late March, early April, right? I didn't hear from Rey anything through that time frame, and I was like, oh man, like
it's all good,
so I was like, damn, like I guess like maybe you don't want to do it, right? And then he hit me up randomly and was like, hey bro, I still want to talk about this stem cell thing. Let me get through Mania this week. You'll hear from me next week. So once I officially had Rey on board within like 2 weeks in May, I went to Starrcast 2 in Las Vegas. And I met Kevin Nash, I met Ryback, I met Ken Shamrock. I met
what year
Brian
was this?
Cage.
What year is this?
This was still 2019. So all this is in 2019.
I got you. All right.
So I go to you know, and to backtrack with the Rey thing. So I had to go back to work. You know, now granted, I told you I offered him a free treatment. Gary, this was not okay previously. Like I didn't get permission for this. I made an executive decision.
Yeah, you just got to do it. You just like,
so I'm in the opportunity is now. I'm going to do it now and ask for forgiveness later. So I had to go back to work. So I had like a few days off. So Saturday was Takeover, Sunday Royal Rumble, Monday Raw, Tuesday SmackDown, all in Phoenix. So I went to all of those with my buddy, dropped my buddy off at the airport Wednesday morning, and then went back to work. So I go back to work and I sit down with the CEO of the company and I was like, hey, Eric, hypothetically, let's say I had an athlete on board with 30 million social media followers worldwide, and he was willing to let us document his treatment and promote us. You'd give him a free treatment, right? And he was like, yeah, of course. And I was like, I'm glad you said that because I already made the offer.
Already happening.
So then like the week of Mania happens. Now Rey is officially on board, right? So now I can say, hey, I got Rey Mysterio Jr. He's a client. And again, this is all because of the painting that I did, right? And then I kept pressing the company. I was like, guys, like I can bring in a ton of people. Like, let me run with this. Let me spend some money. Let me spend some company dollars to go do this. Now, there's also the other side of it. Like I'm a fan, right? Like let me spend your money to go do some cool stuff, right? And I'll bring some stuff back. But so I go to StarCast, and literally in that first StarCast, Gary, this was May 2019. I landed Kevin Nash, I landed Ryback, I landed Brian Cage and his wife, and then I landed there was one other one, Shamrock Cage, Ryback, Brian Cage, and Melissa Santos. So 5 people in that one event. So now I got 6 professional clients on my name. Now I got Kevin and.
Are you doing the stem? Are you hitting them with the stem cell research too?
Yep. Okay. Yep. So I go there. Now I'm going there specifically for that.
Okay. So not the art. This is
the company gave me $2,000 to spend over the weekend. Like in terms of like this is your budget. $2,000 is a lot of fun at a StarCast event. I mean, I was slinging stem cells to Sting, to Bret Hart, to and Eric Bischoff, like anybody you can think of. I was like, hey man, you ever thought about the stem cell thing, right? So like it was crazy. So I went on over the course of that year. I went on through the remainder of 2019. I landed 46 professional athletes. Brian Cage and Melissa Santos had me come back to Vegas. I got to go backstage at TNA Impact 2 nights in a row, like for recording. So I'm just hanging out. Rey, if you remember when Rey and Dominic got absolutely destroyed by Brock Lesnar on that Monday Night Raw.
Okay, I got you.
That when Brock ripped Dominic out of the stands and like decimated him, right?
This is 2019.
Yeah,
I got you. Yeah.
So that happened in Phoenix as well, and I was backstage that night. So Rey called me and was like, "Hey Dave, like you want to come backstage?" Blah blah. I was like, yes, right.
Of course.
Now at this point, I had added Bobby Lashley to my roster. I had added Sheamus to my roster, and both of them were looking to do this because Sheamus, his career was in jeopardy. Like WWE was telling him he may not be able to wrestle again because he was suffering from spinal stenosis.
Right.
With Bobby Lashley had nagging injuries where like they were a detriment, and he was out for a period of time. So, Rey had kind of started like going, hey, you should talk to my stem cell dude, like around the locker room. So now people left and right. I would wake up on a morning basis, and like I remember like the first day I woke up and the first big name was in my DMs. It was Edge, and I freaked out. I fanboyed so hard, man, because I love Adam, right?
Oh yeah.
And I wake up and like I'm laying there with my girlfriend, and like I look and I'm like, oh my God. She's like, what? I was like, Edge is in my DM. She was like, what? And I mean, if there was like a span of time, Gary, for like 6 months where it was like literally like, who am I gonna talk to today? I spent in that 6-month period, I talked to over 120 professional wrestlers, all through like phone calls, face-to-face interactions. So, I mean, if I were to lose my cell phone, somebody would have the WWE plethora of phone numbers. Like my phone would be a promoter's dream. Right?
I got you.
Especially like if you run WrestleCon, like hit me up, like maybe you can do something, But so I mean, it was nuts, dude. And so I was landing all these people. So now I'm backstage at Raw. And it was crazy, man. And again, if I didn't do this first painting, none of this happens.
That's
right?
amazing.
So I'm sitting there. This is also the night that we're going into Crown Jewel in Saudi, and we're kind of starting the program for that. So Flair is there. Hulk Hogan is there. I had already previously met Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, when he became a client of mine. I got a phone call from him one day. He said, hey, man, I need you to come to Florida. Terry wants you to meet with him.
Yeah.
And we're talking like, we all know who Terry is, right? We're talking the Holster, right? And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, like I was talking to him about the stem cell thing, like come to Florida. I had a couple other clients there. So I went down there, secured a couple deals, met Hogan at Hogan's Beach Shop. Got some cool stuff signed, including, you know, this banner.
I was wondering like how that happened, but it's all clicking now. It's all
clicking. So
we
talked, and he had done stem cells before. Hulk did. His only objection was the fact that he's Hulk Hogan and it's a little difficult to travel. But we were willing to even book him a private plane. So like if he was willing to jump on board. So now this is like 4 months later, and I see Hulk in catering, and he walks up to me and goes, "Hey, brother." And I kind of looked at him like, he goes, "Yeah, I remember you. You're the stem cell guy." And I, again, just, right? Like, Hulk Hogan remembers who I am. Like, that's pretty cool. So we're standing there, and he pulls out his cell phone, and I said, "Hey, man, like, when are we going to get you down there?" And he's like, "Oh, brother, like, I'm about to have my 10th back surgery." And he pulls out his phone and like starts showing me like x-rays and MRIs. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm sitting there and like, you know, I got Ric Flair on one side of me, I got Hulk on the other. And like, I mean, again, you go back to being a 5-year-old kid, right? And you're like, this is nuts. Like, this is crazy. I went to high school with Seth Rollins.
Okay.
And so Seth and I know each other, and it was like a really weird moment because I was sitting in catering, and at this time, like I'd already signed up Kurt Angle as well. So Kurt was coming down to do treatment. I've been talking to a few other people. So I'm sitting in catering, and I'm with like Devon Dudley. I'm with Ray.
Do you work for the WWE right now?
Almost, yeah. Like I felt like it. Like I was almost like the go-to guy, right?
Yeah. I feel like
so I'm sitting there. We're in catering with and I'm sitting with Ray, Dominic, and Kurt and Devon, and we're just talking. And like Seth walks in, and he sees me like across the room, and he just stops and looks at me, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, David?" You know, in his raspy voice. And so we started talking, and it was just nuts, man. Like, here's 2 kids from small town Davenport, Iowa, like went to high school together, and now we're both sitting backstage at a WWE event in Phoenix, Arizona. Like, what?
It's supposed to happen like that.
We fast forward that like another like month and a half later, man. I get a phone call from Ray and Kurt. "Hey, Dave, do you want to be my guest backstage at the 20th anniversary of SmackDown?" Okay, what? So like, get out of here, right? So, and it was crazy, Gary, because like so my best friend Mitch, him and I, like we met camping out for wrestling tickets. So we do anything wrestling, we typically do it together, right? So I call him, I'm like, "Book your flight right now. You meet me in LA, right?" So we go to LA, I got the company card, so hotels and all that are paid for. He's just got to pay for his flight. Ray has us meet him at his hotel early in the morning, the day of the 20th anniversary of SmackDown. He's doing his autograph signing for some fans and stuff. Goes and grabs his bags, pulls his G-Wagon up. We hop in the car with him. We literally drive into the Staples Center, like down the same ramp as Kobe Bryant and everybody else. We drive into the Staples Center, and we pull in, and Ray goes, "Hey, that's Dwayne's truck right there. If you want to meet Dwayne, he's kicking off the show. He's probably going to bolt as soon as he's done." We were like, "Oh, no way." So we go to catering, and like I grew up a huge Sting fan, as you can see right here.
I'm a Sting. Sting's my favorite wrestler.
I love Sting. Oh, dude. Yes, I got that too.
Yeah. Oh, you got one?
That's what I got the little mini version.
Yeah. Hold on, wait. Keep it up real quick. That's a screenshot.
Yeah, this is the mini version right here. This is the 8-inch version.
Yeah. Boom.
So yeah, I love Sting, man, and I mean, I got to spend 45 minutes with him in catering, like just one-on-one while the show was going on, talking about stem cell therapy, and like I literally felt like I was having out-of-body experiences at this point, because I felt like I was stepping outside of my own body and I was watching myself have this interaction with Sting. Trish and Lita, at this point, Shane McMahon is a client of mine. He's set to come down to receive treatment. I mean, anybody who's anybody on the roster, we got to meet him. I connected with Mark Henry, but again, back to Art, right? At this show,
I got a story about Mark Henry on Art too. Go ahead.
I connected with Matt Hardy, and Matt Hardy and I hit it off.
I saw that picture.
And you saw the picture of me and Jeff with the painting, so I had the pictures of me and Matt with the painting too. So I did this really badass Hardy Boys painting during this time frame. And after Matt and I connected, we were texting back and forth. I said, "Hey man, check this out."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Holy crap, bro, that's sick. I want it. I want
Mark
to
Henry,
Mark Henry, my house."
Mark Henry, Matt Hardy.
Matt Hardy.
Okay, all right.
So he wanted the Hardy Boys painting that I did, and we were supposed to actually connect here. Now I live in Las Vegas. We were supposed to connect here in Las Vegas last February, the weekend, like the week that COVID really blew up. Right.
All right.
So he was supposed to be doing an autograph signing here because at the time he was independently booked with Impact, and Impact was doing taping. So he was going to be coming in doing a signing and then doing his Impact recordings. And then like his flight got canceled because COVID exploded.
Gotcha.
That same weekend, I gave Rey Mysterio appeared at the Vegas Toy Con, and Sting was there as well. So I did a Sting painting that's 5 faces of Sting. So it's like from Surfer Sting through NWO Wolfpack Sting.
Gotcha.
And I did that painting. I did keep that one. So I have it signed by Sting. I have photos of him and I with it. And then for Rey, I had told Rey that I was doing a painting for him, but I didn't tell him what it was. So I did this really awesome like Hispanic heritage piece. It's half based around kind of like De Los Muertes and like his family. And then the other half is more around like Aztec warrior.
That's awesome.
So I gifted that to him, but I'd also did an Eddie Guerrero piece for him. And like, I'm not kidding you, man. I love that Eddie Guerrero piece so much that if it was not a gift for Rey's house, I would have kept it. Like, I mean, literally, like it's one of those ones that when you do a piece of artwork, you step back and go like, wow, I outdid myself. Right?
No, I feel you. Yeah,
and usually like as an artist, like you're never satisfied. You're always critiquing your work. I could have did this better.
Yeah.
I could have added
this is a little bit off.
Yeah, you're like, I don't like this edge right here. I messed this up, right? Like you're always nitpicking, but this one, like I stepped back and I was like, this is phenomenal. So I gave it to Rey. And if you go to my Instagram, like anybody else out there that watches the pod or
give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. My son is over here being disruptive.
He's like, Dad, give me.
Hang on, buddy. Come here. Stop. We got another special guest. Bringing him on. Yeah, another special guest because he won't stay still. What's up, buddy? This is David.
That's the mini pin. This is the mini pin.
This is the mini pin. This is David. He can't touch stuff.
Yeah, he's like, Dad, let me get up in this mic.
Yeah, he on there now. All right, so go ahead, finish. I'm still.
But
listening.
Yeah, so I gave Rey the Eddie Guerrero painting, and it was really cool, man. He got very emotional, and it was like, I was holding it and I was explaining to him some of the different things that were on there. And I had put at the bottom corner of it, I had put this speech that he shared on camera that night that Eddie passed away on the Monday Night Raw. Like when he took his mask off and, he gave everybody was kind of doing their moment on camera, sharing memories of Eddie. So I wrote that speech out on the painting and it was sealed underneath the clear coat. And like Rey like read it and like he got very emotional and like touched Eddie's face and like just stood there for a minute. It was just like, wow, bro, like, thank you. Like you outdid yourself. And that was really cool, man. So yeah, I've had a lot of cool opportunities with the painting. Just recently here in December, I had moved to Florida during the midst of COVID for a job opportunity. And Matt Hardy and I have been texting back and forth about like trying to connect somehow, through like AEW being there in Jacksonville. I was in Orlando, so just 2-hour difference. And so we finally were able to like put things together December 30th, actually. So like this was my last day that I spent in Florida before I moved to Vegas for my job.
Got you.
And I had met Matt. He had left me tickets to the AEW show. So I got to be a guest at the Brody Lee tribute show, which is really cool. And then
you were actually physically in attendance.
Yes. Matt Hardy left me a ticket.
It was like nobody there almost like because of COVID, right?
Yeah, socially distanced. Like per section, there's like 6 people in each section total. Yeah. But Matt had left me a ticket for it, and that was really cool. So I got to go and enjoy an AEW show. And this is my last day in Florida, so like a good way to go out with a bang, And I met up with Matt afterwards. He had already previously arranged the week before Christmas for me to meet up with Jeff privately. So like Matt just did that just because he knew I was like such a big fan of the Hardys and like obviously Jeff being into art. So he arranged for me to meet Jeff. I met up with Jeff, got some photos. I had a couple things and I asked like, hey, would it be okay to bring these to get them signed? He was like, yes, of course. Jeff loved it, especially, and it was cool because obviously I've always looked up to Jeff being an artist. And so it was really cool.
I didn't know Jeff was an artist.
Yeah, he's hardcore, man. Like he does these metal sculptures that he calls aluminummies.
Okay.
And then he's real big into painting.
3-dimensional art.
Yeah, just Google. Well, he does like a lot of paintings too, but like just like he paints his face, like all this stuff's kind of based around that same aspect. But yeah, just Google like Jeff Hardy art, and you'll see like a ton of stuff that he does. So that was really cool to get to talk to him about that and like get my photo with me and him in the painting. And then with Matt, like Matt did the same thing. Like, he took the painting, like that's now hanging in his house at the Hardy compound. And then I got to get my photos with him as well. So to me, like that's the ultimate compliment, man. Like,
of course,
if somebody you do art for goes, bro, this is sick and I want it. Like to me, like that's better than making money. That's better than ever being famous. Like, I do it like out of like more of like a labor of love and kind of like a stress relief. The next piece that I'm unveiling to a wrestler is I'm going to be attending the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast Live 7 in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So I'm going with my buddies from Iowa. They're just driving a couple hours up. I'm going to be driving from Vegas to Wisconsin.
Right, but it's worth it for you.
I just did a Matt Cardona painting. So, and that painting, I've not posted any pictures or videos. I will not until middle of April.
Until it's time.
Because Matt knows that I did a painting, but he has no idea what it looks like. But I've literally referenced, and I sent it to you. Obviously, you've seen it, but
I'm not showing it either. Ha!
I've referenced everything that Zack Ryder / Matt Cardona loves, like growing up, like enjoying. If anybody out there listens to his podcast or knows anything about him, he's the Michael Jordan of wrestling figure collecting, right? So he's got like the greatest collection in the world. So I reference a lot of that in there, as well as other lines that he collects. But even like that painting, like it's very over the top, which fits his personality. And now this week I'm getting ready to start one for Brian Myers as well.
I got you.
Kurt Hawkins.
I have a question. Good question. So I see collage with your art. How would you describe your artwork? Because it's definitely different.
I think very like, it just depends on like the theme that what I'm going for. I think it's very like abstract in terms of, it's not just like a standard portrait. Like when I do a painting for somebody, like I want to incorporate things about that person, right? Like with the Rey Hispanic Heritage piece, if you look at the details of it, it says in Spanish, 3 things that define me, my faith, my mask, my family, and my heritage. This is 4 things. But I wrote it in Spanish, I had to use Google Translate to do that. I'm a kid that grew up in the cornfields of Iowa. Like I don't speak Spanish. So
but the thought, it's the thought.
Yeah. His tattoos, like if you look at Rey's tattoos throughout his body, he's got Dominic, Angie, and Aaliyah, his kids and his wife, he has their names all tattooed on them. And what I did was I found images of those tattoos and I recreated those on the painting for him. But the way that his actual tattoos look, not just like in my own script, anything like that, I recreated the actual tattoos. I incorporated the Aztec temple, the Aztec calendar, on the side of his mask. Rey talks about the bird that's on his mask is a falcon. So if you look at that painting, on the left side, over the colors of the Mexican flag, there's an Aztec falcon on it. So I try to incorporate all these things that are specific to that person, right? Especially if I'm going to gift this painting to them. Like I want them to look at it in their home and go, holy shit, this is awesome, right? I want them to have that feeling every single time. The other thing that I do that's very unique, that sets my pieces apart from other people's, is I want my stuff to pop and I want it to be different, right? And I've always thought like glitter looked really cool, like in certain aspects. So what I started doing is I started basically taking Mod Podge glue, right? You buy it at like Michael's, anything like that. You could buy it in a big bottle like this. You can buy it in a small one, whatever you want to do.
The white bottle with the red.
Yes. So a lot of people use that in like the crafting world, right? For like gluing small pieces together or building like dioramas, things like that. What I started doing is I'd take a paintbrush and I dip the paintbrush in it and I will paint over something on my canvas with it. So like, let's say I'm doing lettering, right? Like Eddie Guerrero, I did it all red glitter. So I had to trace each letter with the glue, pour the glitter, pack it down to make it nice and tight, let it sit, move on to the next letter. You do that all the way across.
How long have you been painting for? Like, how long have you been doing art?
January 2019, when I did that Rey painting, was the first actual painting that I've ever done.
See, in 2020 is when I actually first started I've drew since a kid. Similarly, you drew since a kid, but like in 2020 is when I started art because of COVID. When I was trapped inside, I was like, let me go ahead and venture off into this hobby. And turns out that based on drawing, because I kind of, when I first started painting, I did it similar to how I would draw. Like I would kind of like but then I started to get a little bit loose with it.
Yeah.
And it's starting to open up a little bit, but I like that because it's like it's a late start for you, but you've had a lot of success. And I think going back.
Yeah, I'm 32 and at this point now I'm just like a year and a half into like actually painting. Before, like it was like everything was pen, pencil, like very detailed control.
I got you.
Whereas like when you go to like painting's a little bit different. There is still like, if you look at my artwork, like there is a lot of fine detail in the stuff that I do. So there is still a lot very much of like being right on top of that canvas like this,
Got you.
So with fine tip brushes, one thing that I really like, I'm looking at like your Ric Flair in the background, right?
Yeah.
Like some of like the black that's like on his face to make his nostrils and like the eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I do things like that, what I do is I use a deco paint pen to do like details like that. So, I mean, you still get that same finish, but again, it goes back to our traditional style of art of like the pen and pencil.
Yeah.
So I can have that control over those fine lines, because with a brush, it is very easy to make mistakes. So,
you know, it's
kind of like a really mix of different techniques and using different tools that you have available to you in terms of just creating that image that you have in your head.
That's what art is. Thank you, man. Thank you for that story. It was awesome. It was amazing. This was David. I definitely want to have you back on here too. Like, I think that,
yeah, I mean,
aside from just art, we could talk about, I mean, primarily art, but like what's going on in current events and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think too, like, I mean, when I unveil the Major Brothers, when I unveil their paintings in April, my buddies will be there, so I'll have some video content of that. But I mean, I'm really excited to see Zack Ryder, to see his reaction. He's a very like outgoing, dynamic personality, like I am. Matt and I have become friends over the last couple of years, again through the stem cell thing, which all again started because of that painting I did for Rey, right? I mean, it just opened up so many doors for me. Gave me so many cool, like, once in a lifetime opportunities. Like I got to meet The Rock, I got to meet Vince McMahon, I got to meet Stone Cold, like, I got to meet everybody from my childhood. Like, there was like a big four group of people that I had not met that I needed to really meet everybody.
Oh, we broke up.
Some kind of that attitude.
There we go.
And like, because of the painting that I did for Rey, and because of the opportunities that opened up for me, that gave me the ability to meet a Vince McMahon. That gave me the ability to meet a Stone Cold, to go backstage at these events. So, I mean, it's really just about putting yourself out there, right?
Motivation.
And that allowed me to create relationships with a lot of guys that I still have today, and I still talk back and forth. I mean, I'm a wrestling figure collector myself. Like, this whole side of my room over here is Ultimate Warrior and Sting action figures. And so I'm always texting back and forth with Cardona about different things. And so I'm excited now. I did this painting for him to present that at their live podcast. And then I'm sure what'll happen, and I'll keep you in the loop on this, is I'm sure that these guys, they're big merchandise guys, right?
Yeah.
I joke with Matt. I tell him he's the Gene Simmons of wrestling merch. He'll put his name on face on anything. So I won't be shocked to see, like, if they both love these paintings, that they want to sell like prints that they sign to like their podcast following. So I'll keep you in the loop on that as well. But we could always jump back on and just talk about like what that experience is of unveiling those paintings, and I can share like some video content and things with you as well. But yeah, I'm always going to keep painting, man. I'm always looking for opportunities. I've done a piece for Chris Angel before. That's hanging here in Vegas in his theater. So I'm always looking for those opportunities, but it's got to be something that I'm passionate about. And I love wrestling. So wrestling's easy. And if you can do cool fan art, a lot of those guys really appreciate it. Coming down the pipeline, I know I'm going to do a Jericho piece. I have contact with him. Kurt Angle is a guy I talk to pretty regularly.
You almost got to hit everybody up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if I have time for this upcoming event, when I'm going to unveil the one for Brian Myers and the one for Matt Cardona, Kevin Nash is also going to be in town doing an autograph signing that same weekend for that same event. So if I have time, I'm going to do a Big Daddy Cool Diesel Wolfpack Kevin Nash up. And I'm going to take that to Wisconsin and surprise Kevin with that too. But I know that one's going to take me I'm going to need like a good solid 10 days. So my plan is blow through this Brian Myers piece next week. And that'll leave me like 3 solid weeks to really work the Kevin Nash piece. And so hopefully I'm going to Wisconsin with 3 different paintings, but it's all going to just depend on timing with like my real job and getting the work done as well.
That's awesome. So that was Jason. I think I'm going to title this episode, How One Art Piece Can Change Your Life.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's the title. That's the title of this episode.
And I talk about it with my buddy, my best friend Mitch, all the time. I'm like, man, like, and because obviously he got to tag along for so many of those things. And even now, like, here we are, it's March of 2021. And I still just sit back and like, I think about like, holy crap, like, what if I would have never done that painting? Like, I would have never made the money that I made with that company, because by bringing Rey on board, that opened up the opportunities to blow that company up in terms of exposure, in terms of people showing interest and wanting to do the medical treatment. I mean, it blew up our marketing. It blew up the opportunity to go hire more sales reps. I mean, and just that one painting, like, led me to Rey. Rey opened up doors, and then those doors led to financial success, personal success, just in terms of like just really enjoying what you do and having fun. And I can actually show your audience.
Big congratulations to Jason.
So this is a 12 by 12 print that I did of it, and I had
I like the background on that. The background.
I had Rey sign it right down here. So each painting that I gift to somebody, I will print a copy of it for myself.
Got you.
And then what I do is, this is just a 12 by 12 shadow box that you can pick up at Michael's. So then I have them sign the artwork. So kind of like I still have a copy for myself, but then I can display like the different pieces that I have gifted to people. So I have all of those on display. Soon I'll have a couple more. I got to get the Hardy Boys one signed. And then I'll have the Matt and Brian, and then just it's gonna keep rolling from there, man.
Yeah, we're gonna end it right here. I wanted to share Jason's story with you. David, sorry, my bad. Thinking about somebody else. I apologize. I wanted to share David's story with you. David is an awesome artist out of Phoenix, Arizona. I want everybody to check him out and just follow him. Follow his story.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to check out the artwork, it's Truitt Artworks on Instagram. TRUITT Artworks is all one word, no underscores or spaces, anything like that. But I put all my stuff up on there. So all my rock and roll stuff is up on there. All my wrestling stuff is up on there. And like as I do pieces, I keep rolling out like more content on there, just in terms of like me with the whoever that painting is for, etc. And then I've started to actually gain a little bit of traction too, Gary, in terms of just getting people reaching out to me going like, hey, how much to do a piece? And I mean, my boss is getting ready to have me do a Freddie Mercury Queen piece for his mother-in-law here soon. So
thank you, David. Thank you so much, man. Really do appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll circle back around and we'll definitely do another episode. I really love your story and I'm excited. I'm sure everybody else who's going to be listening to this too is going to love to see the progress and how everything unfolds for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So fucking sorry for saying Jason. I still in my back of my head. Man, fuck. That was the only fucking worst part of this whole thing. But yeah. All right, David. Thank you so much, man. We'll talk later. This was it's 316 day, so make sure you crack a cold one and enjoy.
Yeah, throw some beers on yourself and have a good day.
That's it. All right.
All right, bro.